Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It is Thursday, April 21st, and yeah, we didn't do a fishing report last week because the weather was just horrible, and the scheduling with my cameraman was not great either, so we just tossed it and went ahead doing it this week. So April 21st, and water temperature at Belle Isle's 44 degrees, and if I would have done one last week, it had dropped back quite a bit. But now we're back up to at least mid-40s, and it looks like, if you look at the weather forecast going into this weekend, that this is going to be the weekend. This is going to be the weekend that really drives everything forward into a full spawning pattern for a lot of the perch, which have been still hanging tight and really not spawning yet. And walleye are they're going strong in the Detroit River, but it's going to just be insane this weekend, I'm sure, with the water temperature ticking up. Same thing for the guys chasing walleyes out on the main lake, and the smallie for the guys that want to chase smallies. The only big question this weekend is going to be the wind, because we're going to go from like 40s, which it is right now outside, up to the 80s this weekend. So that's a huge temperature jump. And I know right now the forecast for, I think Saturday has got it, you know, only like light winds, I call it light, but 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. And then they got the big blow, I think, coming on Sunday, which I don't know if I buy that or not, because that first day when it hits 80 is normally the day when she really blows. But you know these weathermen, they get paid the big bucks for being wrong all the time. So you know you're going to get a strong south wind here some point that's going to push these temps up into the 80s. That's the bad news. But the good news is 80-degree temps and sunshine at all is just going to trigger these fish like crazy. And the perch are going to go into full spawn mode. The smallies are going to start pushing into shallower water, and they're definitely going to stack up out there on that break. So if you guys were looking to really have your first smallie fishing weekend, this would probably be the weekend, I would guess. I should say something too before I forget, is that we've had a lot of phone calls about that Crocker Road boat launch. Clinton River Cutoff is the official name of it. That launch is closed for the season. It may be open at the earliest this fall, but it is closed. It is shut down. The gates will be locked on it. And that's because they're finally doing that big renovation that will hopefully end that silt deposit that we keep getting right in front of the boat launch. They're going to go out that old Admiral Marine launch, which is directly adjacent to it right to the south, and that has never silted in with no maintenance on it whatsoever for many years. So once this is done, we ought to be good to go on that boat launch, but that Crocker Road boat launch is closed for the season, okay? So you're going to have to launch either down in St. Clair Shores, or you're going to have to launch Metro Beach or Harley Ensign to fish this part of the lake. So just wanted to get that out. I'll probably try to mention it continually in the next couple of reports, just because I know guys are not always watching every week, so especially if you're out of state or out of town. Talked a little bit about the weather and how it's going to affect everything, but basically that's the big story, is that everything this week is really going to take off from the St. Clair River on down. Perch fishing has been sporadic just based on the weather. Same thing with the panfish fishing and the canals and the backwaters. But that is all going to explode this weekend. That water temperature is going to jump up. We've got rain coming with this warm front, considerable rain, I think tomorrow night, and it should be like a 50-degree rain. So that's gonna trigger these catfish like my buddy Spencer's been catching over there at the spillway. It's just going to make them go crazy. Hopefully we don't get too much rain that it turns into a torrential torrent coming out of that spillway. But the fish are going to be there. So even if we do get a huge push of water, as soon as it subsides a little bit, those fish are going to be there. So for you guys wanting to chase catfish, crappies haven't really gotten going yet in a lot of places, but I would expect in the backwater areas like in Metro and St. John's Marsh and other places that spawn is going to kick in with these 80-degree temps. So that's going to get going. Walleye fishing, we are already going strong on both the St. Clair River and the Detroit Rivers. That's just going to get better yet. Maybe the big fish may subside a little bit. You're going to start catching a lot more even spawned out hens down there on the Detroit River, but that fishing is going to just explode down there as well. And like I said, smallies, for you guys chasing smallies, this is really going to get them going. We're going to see temperatures, I'm sure, along the shorelines pushing 50 degrees or even warmer in shallow if that sun gives us any happiness this weekend. So the smallie bite ought to pick up phenomenally. If it does blow too hard, guys, for the smallies and you can't get out where the fish are holding at, don't forget that this time of the year, those largemouths will just start committing suicide at these canal mouths and in these front portions and all the way in the backs of some of these canals and marinas. And there's really no boats in yet, although I expect there'll be a lot of boats starting to go in this weekend as we get closer to Memorial Weekend. But those areas, for you guys that want to chase those greenfish, or those ditch pickles as we call them, those fish are going to just turn on and just go on fire. And one of the patterns is catching these fish right at these canal mouths, because if you haven't paid attention to what happens in these canals, is that water heats up in these canals, and then there's kind of an ebb and flow all the time in these canals where the water pushes in, it builds up a little bit, and then it flushes back out. Well, as that water flushes out, you get that warm water coming out of these canals, and a lot of times these largemouths like to just stack up right on these corners of these canal mouths. So that's easy pickings for you guys if you want to put quick fish on the rods, especially if you're taking kids out there on the water and maybe the smallie bite is a little tough for them. But that shore fishing or along the shorelines for those largemouths is really good this time of the year, all the way up until the water temperatures kind of stabilize. That's really all I've got for this fishing report this week. They're still catching a mixed bag up there on the St. Clair River. Silverfish mixed in with the walleyes, and we're still seeing them down here along the lake as well, and then the Detroit River, just because the water temps are still cold. That will start to peter off a little bit, especially down on the southern part of the silverfish's route. But that St. Clair River should keep going for quite a bit. As you know, it's just a lot colder up there. It's going to take it a lot longer to warm up. So if you haven't had a chance to get out this spring, this weekend is really the weekend to do it, whether you're a shore fisherman or a boat fisherman. Get out there and enjoy these first couple of 80-degree days that we're supposed to have this weekend, if the weatherman was right. Hey, if you like this video content and you want to get updated as soon as the next video is out there, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notified as soon as the next video is up.